Hello and welcome to a big episode for Verbal Money. This is usually the part where I'd say that we're going to deal with big questions and make a joke, but there's just big previews this week because it is UFC 286 week. With that in mind, we were cautious of this being really, really long. So we're going to kind of skip over a lot of stuff that happened at the weekend. I'm sure everyone will have digested that and got all their analysis and everything like that in, all the hot takes. So we just wanted to point out a few of the UK fighters that put on some great performances over the weekend because there was quite a lot of them. Starting with Chanel Dyer competing on Hexagon in her pro debut with one of the best knockouts of the year already. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we spoke about it last week. I feel like we expected to see this anyway, but I was still like, Chanel Dyer is the future.
You can tell she's been training with Molly McCann with that little cheeky for that elbow, man. So good. Good on her, man. I can't wait to see her next with Hexagon or whoever she's with, man. So good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can't believe they've been limiting her and not letting her do things like that in the amateurs. They're just taking away half of her game.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, she's like someone a lot of us have kind of had our eye on for a while as being someone who could be really good in the pro league, or in the program, I should say. So happy to see her get that debut. Do you see the other angle of the finish? That I think it went on Instagram today on the Hexagon page.
No,
Crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal. It's just to sum it up, since we're running low on time. Fucking brilliant. There you go.
Yeah. I'll tell you what else was pretty bloody good. Davy Grant. We mentioned it really briefly last weekend of him being one of the most underrated fighters for always putting on great fights. But for 2 rounds, I was like, this is the stereotypical Rafael Sunsao fight. If you asked AI to predict a Rafael Sunsao fight, that is what it would do. And then Davy Grant just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was set up by a fence grab, but then for the next minute, chaos, absolute chaos. I love Davy Grant. I'd watch him fight every week if I could.
And why can't we? Why can't we watch Davy Grant fight every week? Like, this is something that I'm starting to have a bit of an issue with.
I mean, he said he was ready to fill into London.
Exactly, like he's going over fucking threatening people on this card, saying, fucking watch yourself. Do you know what I mean? But why isn't Davy Grant on every card? I think he should be fighting every week. But no, his performance over the weekend, like it looked like Asunsao was on his way to winning the fight. Cheeky fence grab from Davy. Bit of a fucking weird call. Who was the ref in that fight?
Was it Herzog?
Yeah, he did. Like, I love the Zog. Do you know what I mean? I think he is probably the best referee in MMA right now. But that was a bit of a cock up. I'm not gonna lie. But Davey, lovely spinning back fist and a reverse triangle. Do you know how fucking rare reverse triangles are? Like, I can only think of one, and that was Toby Amada versus Jorge Masvidal. And that, like, narrowly beats out Davy Grant's one because he was standing while he was doing it. So that's pretty fucking impressive. But Davy Grant, though. More Davy Grant. Like, every card. Why isn't he fighting this week? Why isn't he fighting next week? Do you know what I mean? Put Davy Grant, every... all right, let's say every pay-per-view, let's say.
Sure. Yeah.
Speaking of, I couldn't go past you saying Jason Herzog and cock up and not think of Bellator at the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
If we were doing a regular episode, we'd be talking about this for 20 minutes at least.
I mean, poor Masayev, man. He got kicked. He broke his rib and got caught in the nuts. That's a rough couple of minutes.
It's funny for me to say, but like that poor fucker, like he's had like his spot in the tournament robbed because of a fairly serious referee blunder. But
it was a kick to the body. I don't think the referee got it wrong.
No, but still, it was just something about that whole sequence just felt off. When I watched it the first time, I was like, okay, that seems fair enough. But the more you start to think about the situation, it was like, this guy's been fucked over. I feel like he's been kicked in the balls here. No matter what way you put it.
It didn't help that I was with you, Jake. I was like, yeah, okay, I think this all makes sense. But then Jason Herzog telling his corner to come and stand with him so that he could explain what was happening, and them taking forever. And he was just shouting at them. And then they went and sat back down, and he was shouting at them to come back. I was just like, this is such a mess, only for it to be waved off. And then Shabli was like, I won, I guess. What a nightmare. However, the rest of the Bellator card was really good. I enjoyed the whole thing. It was just that one thing where I was like, oh, this is peak Bellator to have this sandwiched in between Usman and these incredible finishes, because
that's like the most Bellator thing you can imagine.
Exactly, because the two performances from the UK guys on the main card were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I say phenomenal. We really didn't get to see that much of Michael Venom Page, but
oh my god,
how has that man managed to produce 2 injuries that I've never seen before happen? That knee against Cyborg, and now this. I think even know.
3. The way he broke
Derek Anderson's nose as well.
Yeah, true.
Remember when he flattened Anderson's nose? That was fucking horrifying. And now he broke it. He broke your man's kneecap.
Bro, an emoji just popped up out of nowhere as if someone had sent a text message. It just went, like, how much power does he have in those legs of his, man? Do you know what I mean? Ruthless, bro. Ruthless. Same with Big Linton as well, man. Good on him, bro. He must have forgot to feed those reptiles, I'm telling you, because he went to work. He got to work, bro. Big up Linton. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I first interviewed Linton a couple years ago, and he wanted that rematch back then. Like, he's been desperate for that match with Brodowski again for a while, so I was so happy to see how that went.
He showed why you should have had it the first time, didn't he? You know what I mean? Good on him. Good on him. Title shot pending. Let's go. Let's go.
And just quickly on the Bellator card, I know we said we were just going to touch on UK. Shout out to Benson Henderson.
Yeah. Legend. Yeah. Like actual legend.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to him, but also if it was for Big John McCarthy, he might still be in that rear naked choke to this day.
Kyle. He was fine.
No,
guys, he's fine here. Oh no, he's tapped. No, it's this shit all over again. Commentators do that.
He's like Benson's okay here, and then you just hear Morrow shout, "No, he's not."
I love Morrow. So good it is.
You know what? We need more of that. We need more of that in like high level commentating. It's like when Cruz was trying to say that Conor was just trying to gas Habib out. Do you know what I mean? And Rogan jumps in. He's like, "It looks like he's getting smashed here. I'm not gonna lie. Like it looks like it's being finished." We need more.
Absolutely amazing. What again? Another incredible Bellator highlight. Let's be honest, no other promotion could produce that kind of entertainment. I don't know how they do it.
Big John McCarthy's good for those moments. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you got to give him that. We got to move on to this weekend because before we get to UFC 286, we're gonna touch on Cage Warriors. I'm going to leave this up to you guys because I think that this Cage Warriors card is one of those where there's a bunch of great matchups that, again, if there wasn't a huge event on Saturday night, we could probably go through a bunch of these and pick them apart. But I just want to get the highlights from you guys. So, Corley, I'm hoping you've got the Cage Warriors card up.
I've got everything up here in my brain. You don't need to ask me again. Nah, I have just pulled it up then. I was thinking which fights to want. Just quickly, because I only noticed this very last minute, I'm really looking forward to Fearless MMA's Jack Eglin getting back out there against, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name or remember that I remembered who he's against, but some madman. I'm really looking forward to that. Jack Eglin is a beast, man. Training with Jake Hadley and that. He's one to watch for the future. But the new co-main event, because Morgan and Hendon has been withdrawn from the card, which is a big shitter, but Hendon has medical issues, so I hope he's actually all right. Like, I don't want no badness there. But Justin Burlinson versus Jamie Richardson. Woo! That is a lovely little fight, man. I'm all about that. Richardson's back on the rise. Burlinson will want to fucking get back in the win column after that war with Mickey. I can't wait. That is a scrap.
For sure. Burlinson has been so, like, the entertainment value since he's come into Cage Warriors has gone
Mm.
up like another level. Like every single fight he's had has been so good to watch. So yeah, I'm always going to tune in to watch him fight.
The first time I saw Burlington fight, I was at Bellator live. It was the Musashi Lovato card. He won in 9 seconds via verbal submission to punches. He's been a guy that's really been on my radar since then.
The verbal money special. I like that.
He's only lost twice then. To Johan Linnaeus, who beat him on Contender Series, who's now in the UFC, and Reese McKee. Yeah, he's just a fun fighter. He's always great to watch.
So good, man. Another 2 fights worth watching. Maybe 3 now, maybe 4. Now I'm looking and thinking, it is a really stacked card, to be fair.
It's a fun card.
It is, man.
We were talking in the group chat the other day about, there's no title fight, but it's a fun card.
It's a really good card, I think. O'Meal Brown versus Daniel Skibinski, that's going to be a war, man.
Love that. That's a good step up for Emil as well.
Definitely, man. And Bogdan Barbu versus the man Wesley Meyer, that's going to be good. The passion is back. We're going to hear him scream. I'll be able to hear Wes Meyer scream from my home before he makes that walkout. I can't wait.
I'm very happy to be covering Wesley Meyer fight live. That's going to be fun.
You might need to take some headphones, Steve. Safety first. Safety precautions first.
I mean, I've seen him down at GB Top Team before as well.
He's good. Wes is really good, man. He's got a good team down there with like Gabriel Augusto and that with the Muay Thai. It's good, man. Got some good guys with him. But let's not also forget is it Awaso? I don't know how to pronounce the name right, so I do apologise. But versus Katie Basic, man, that's going to be a good fight. I think they're setting so up on a little woman's run of the division, I think, similar to what we did with Molly. But I think Katie Basic could definitely snatch that straight away, man. She's one to put herself forward. She's a big prospect for women's MMA in England. And I think, she deserves to be on the card.
Sweet. Anything else you guys want to touch on from that card?
Yeah. Lonair Kavanagh. Huge fan of him. He's a really good prospect on GB Top Team.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, main card slot for him, 23 years old.
Was it his last fight? He got an absolutely fucking stunning finish.
Yeah.
I think it was the one before, was it?
Was it the one before? I'm not sure which one it was, but after seeing that, like, that's the kind of shit you're like, I have to keep an eye on him. So I will be tuning in for that fight.
I was just so gutted. The guy who he knocked out so beautifully was wearing Violet Money shorts. That broke my heart.
I remember that. I was at that fight.
But crazy. You cannot knock the beauty of that. It was just. I'm not going to try and move my hands that fast. I'm having a seizure or something. But yeah, beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I just had and like his last fight wasn't as good as that. It was a decision, end of a slow fight, but he looked good. I'm excited to see what he can do for sure. He's a prospect that I think a lot of people should have their eyes on. That finish kind of went viral a little bit, like you said. That's the kind of thing that Caposa posted, and everyone saw it. So yeah, I'm excited to see him get back in there. What else is there? I was on the wrong card.
OGs know that Hinksta is the real, like he's like the one-up version of fucking.
Shout to my man Hinksta, bro. You ask Hinksta anything about anything. You ask him when I don't even know something about Thai MMA that's unwritten, and he will know it like that. Man doesn't need Google. He is Google, bro.
Just ask Hinks when the next Japanese kickboxing card is on and where to watch it, and he'll have it for you.
It's probably on right now.
There's something on YouTube right now.
Yeah, you know, his dedication fucking amazes me, because like I wake up and there's been like fucking news at like 5 a.m, and he's posted it into the chat, and I'm like, why are you awake? I know you're from fucking Liverpool. Like it's not a case of like. I don't know. It's just.
How did you get this? How did you get that scrap of information? Is what I want to know.
I
cannot.
Oh, no, I knew
he's
him.
Anonymous, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, I've known him for years, and he's a scouter.
Oh, we might have to send this clip to Hinks to let like run it past him first, whether he's okay with that one little bit getting out. That might be enough to give his position away.
He wouldn't tell Scouse Matt what colour bin he had, and that is why. Because Matt would have known. Hunting Hinkster is happening after this episode. I'm going to cut this. This is all getting cut. You doesn't have to know about it.
That sounds like a separate podcast.
Yeah.
Hunting
Might get them
Hinkster.
for stalking, so I don't think we can do that, to be fair.
It's going to be the first episode of the Violent Money Panorama series. Hunting down Hinks.
We're just walking around. We're walking around every little fucking village in Liverpool. It's like, do you know a fella who's like really into Russian MMA? Like really into it.
Oh, he's just a machine. I love Hinks. He's just amazing. He's so good.
Yeah.
Anyone messages him to offer him anything, I will attack you.
Wow. Okay.
Savagely leave Hinks to be.
No. Can we get back on topic? I want to touch on a couple. Nick Bagley, who 2-1 guy out of GB Top Team, dropped his last one, but I filmed about a year ago, or just over a year ago, I filmed a university piece with him for my course, like building up to his fight. So I'll always have time for that guy. He's awesome. I'm excited to see him back in there. And kicking off the card, according to Topology, Mush Aslani. Excited to see him. He got a great finish in that last fight at Unplugged. Stan and TKO in 20 seconds. That was a crazy one to be at live. I was at that card as well. Awesome. I'm excited. It's a fun card. We've touched on really most of the fights here. So
yeah,
that kind of says it.
Yeah, we should mention.
I think we haven't touched on the main event.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should mention Vucenic. I think the thing with this card in particular, the reason why we haven't been saying like, oh, we're so excited for this card is because the main event is one of the fights I think we're kind of least excited for. But the kind of main narrative for this fight is Vucenic being back after the fight with Hughes, so that makes it. I just think there are more interesting matchups further down the card, but like you said, Steve, Vucenic always brings a ton of support in London, so I'm sure it'll be a great occasion anyway, him being in the main event spot. So still deserving and everything, and I'm excited to see him back because he always puts on great fights as well. So
yeah, the crowds are crazy, and when Vucenic is fighting, I feel like the segment is just me saying which Cage Warriors cards I attended, but I was at the James Hendon fight, which was originally Paul Hughes, and then the Paul Hughes fight. His fans, he brings a lot of support down from the Northeast, so it's always a fun time when he's fighting, and especially in the main event. If Vucenic is in the main event, they're chanting for him from the first prelim. It's really fun. So, even though the fight isn't maybe what we wanted from this, no disrespect to the guy, his opponent, he's not really that well known. Is it his Cage Warriors debut? I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's his Cage Warriors debut. So yeah, it should be a fun fight. Vucenic is always in fun fights, and the crowd's going to be good, but it's maybe not the kind of fight we would have expected after, just after losing a title.
Do you guys want to go up to the main event, or do you want to start with the main event and go down?
Yeah, in terms of that'd work as well for like viewer attention, right? Because they want to hear about the big one at the end. So start at the bottom and work up.
Sure. There you go.
Jake is just, here's my job, Jake. Take it.
That's the outlawed pick Stan Hardy strategy on the podcast. Always start with the fighters no one knows.
Well, we all know
it's like a 3-hour podcast.
Well, know who's first up today.
Speaking of the Hardy family,
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
First fight of the night, Veronica Hardy taking on.
Did that? I knew that was coming.
Wow, look at this! So well planned.
Famously, the co-host of said podcast, Veronica Hardy.
If Veronica does not win, I will not watch UFC ever again.
such a big claim. Are you just going to turn the rest of the card off?
Everything.
Well, I hate to.
Hardy. We are war. Not Veronica McCadle, like it says on the Google. No, Veronica Hardy.
I'm sorry, Corey. I hate to bring up.
The odds are not in her favor. As someone who spent, it doesn't sound very impressive, but 2 days. But I needed to clarify. It was 2 days straight. I spent this. I can tell you like all the odds on every fight as of 2 days ago. So there may be changes now, but that's not my fault. But yeah, Veronica is not expected to win this fight.
Well, Jesus wasn't expected to rise from the cross, but he did. Word to Jesus. So
He didn't rise from the cross. He died on the cross.
He died on the cross.
the point we're trying to make, Steve, is he rose from somewhere. And that is what Veronica will do. Like a phoenix from the ashes, she will smash some sick karate and all of that. And then, done. That is my Dan Hardy breakdown of how that fight's going to go down. Veronica, by TKO, second round.
I would love nothing. I would love nothing more than like Veronica to catch her with a head kick or something. Veronica was at the PFL event like not that long ago. The presser, the media day, just hanging around. She's great.
I was going to say something, then Carl was not.
Sorry, I was waiting for you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, big up Veronica. And little secret, did you know Dan Hardy loves Raid Shadow Legends?
He really does. He really does.
That was what I took from that interview the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I downloaded it now. I've downloaded it to play it. I will beat Dan Hardy at something.
To be fair, if it's good enough for Dan Hardy, it is probably good enough for the rest of us. Like, are they going to be doing like an Outlaws pick, like fucking podcast on this card? Because I'm interested to see who Dan has picked.
What for this
for
fight?
This fight?
For that fight in particular.
I don't believe
like,
so.
Dan's not a biased guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he thinks his wife is going to get her shit kicked, he's going to say it. Do you know what I mean? That's just Dan.
But Dan has told
if you want to hear Dan's thoughts on the matchup, go to the channel and watch the interview with him from a few weeks ago.
Can we stop? I thought you were. I thought you were about to fucking plug like his YouTube channel, and I was like, Steve.
No, our YouTube channel. I spoke to it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know that. I remember halfway through, I was like, "Is Steve plugged Dan Hardy's channel on here?" I was like, "Stop fucking like you're just shedding viewers here, Steve."
Yeah, if you'd rather listen to Dan Hardy's breakdowns than ours, go to his channel. There you go. There's the plug. That's the plug.
No, watch the interview on this channel.
I'll post a link for Dan Hardy's channel.
The final thing I'm going to say about this fight before we move on is
I haven't even mentioned who our opponent is.
That was going to be my point. Is Juliana Miller?
Don't care. She's lost.
This is
lost already.
This is something that I spoke to. I mean, it wasn't in the interview, so no one would know this. But strange that Juliana Miller, who just won the Ultimate Fighter, would be the first fight of the night. I assume that is not due to the UFC's views on Juliana Miller. But you know, another conversation for another day. But we will see how this one goes down. What's ridiculous is I'm like, that's mad that's the first fight of the night. And then the second fight of the night, according to Tapology, is Jai Herbert versus Ludwig Klein, which is going to be a banger. Like, no doubt.
Is that on the fucking prelims?
Should be on the main card, bro. Main card. Jai Herbert has been so disrespected his whole UFC career, man. He's been fed beasts. He's been slayed by beasts. He's slayed beasts. And now they're doing it to him again, but they don't even give him a fucking good prelim spot. They give him like the second fight on the card. Get to fuck UFC. This is why I hate the bastards. That's why I hate them. Give my man, well, he's not my man, you know, but big shout out to Jai Herbert. Why is he there on the card? Exactly. You don't have anything to say. He should not be there.
Only fights killers, that man.
Only fights killers.
Do you know why the Jai Herbert School of No Easy Fights is called the Jai Herbert School of No Easy Fights? Because it was founded by Jai Herbert. Because he takes no easy fights. Also, check out my article. Jai Herbert, No Easy Fight for Jai Herbert on vmtv.co.uk.
That's the best promo I've ever heard.
Joe, I wanted to call the article that originally. I wanted to call it the Jai Herbert School of No Easy Fights. But I was like, nah, it's just like, it's not going to, that title is not going to gain any fucking traction. But I'm sorely regretting it now.
Oh, I've had some really good ideas to quirk some articles up. I thought I don't have the minerals to post this because you should get the blame anyway. But like, it's your names on it. But I thought I'm not doing this.
Yeah, we were saying, me and Corley were speaking before we started recording, that it's, again, away from Jai Herbert being disrespected and put this low down on the card when he's got a great matchup. Strange for Ludwig Klein as well, because he fought Mason Jones last time out higher than this fight and won, and now he's lower down against Jai Herbert. I don't know. It's a strange one, but at the same time,
Well, that wasn't the best fight, to be fair.
Yeah, and if
it wasn't the best fight, but I don't remember that being a really bad fight either. I remember him looking pretty okay in that fight. Well, not pretty. That sounds disrespectful, but like he looked good. He looked good. His fucking flying kick and everything like that. Ludwig Klein is a good fighter, and so is Jai Herbert. That should be higher up on the card. And with all respect to Joanne Wood and Luana Carolina, it should be above that fight. And how that fight was on the main card for 3 fucking months, I still don't know. 3 months, that was the featured fight on this card. It only got changed like 2 or 3 days ago. The next fight on the card is Joanne Wood versus Luana Carolina, by the way. It's a good fight, but like...
Joanne's kind of a name, that's why. But, I mean...
I still like... She's not... Like, I don't think she's a name in the sense that you can...
I agree.
That you can justify putting her on the main card.
I agree.
And... Yeah. And look, Luana Carolina as well. It's not like, you know... It's not like where you have a name against a kind of okay opponent. It's like, Luana Carolina's not great, though, actually.
Yeah, obviously a lot was made about this fight being on the main card, and... not that it's, necessarily a terrible fight, but it obviously didn't make sense. I think this spot makes a lot more sense. You've got Joanne Wood, who is a name, but she has lost her last 3. And people, especially in London, will remember Luana Carolina for getting spinning elbowed. So it's mental that it was on the main card for that long.
That was Luana's last fight too.
Yeah.
Almost a year to the day, just 1 day off a year.
There you go. Up next, we've got the first of the male flyweights from the UK, Jake Hadley, my favorite person in the world to interview. The man is guaranteed to bring something entertaining, whether it's the fight itself, whether it's the build up to the fight, whether it's what he says afterwards. Jake Hadley is just money. That guy, I will watch him fight every single time.
If he does not call out Makayev after a win, I will be so upset.
Oh, you know he's going to.
If he beats Malcolm Gordon either faster than Makayev did it, or in more dominant fashion, because the Makayev victory over Malcolm Gordon was, I remember at the time we were kind of like, yeah, it's kind of what you expected, but it wasn't. We weren't left like, wow. The finish itself was quite good, but.
It wasn't a great performance for Makayev. I remember that much. I haven't watched the fight back since, but I remember everyone was it finished in the 3rd round, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people had Gordon ahead. So I think if Jake Hadley comes in and he puts Gordon away in 1-2 rounds and looks sensational, I think he's going to have a big mic opportunity. Better shout out Violent Money, since he is a Violent Money athlete. If he doesn't, I'm going to get on the phone to Nathan Grayson and have him kicked, because I'm a big deal. Jake Hadley, I'm joking. Jake Hadley, please.
The Chael Sonnen turn from Jake. I just didn't see this coming.
I just wanted to make it very clear, Jake.
He's got the background for it, to be fair. Look at Jake's background. Does that not remind you of Chael Sonnen?
I've never noticed it before, but you're so spot on.
I'm just sitting in an empty room here, just talking about things that don't concern me.
So,
giving it all this shit, you know what I mean? Like that could, there's my new role on this podcast. I'll be the Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Jake Hadley, that was just a joke. You're not going anywhere. I wish you nothing but the best. And even if you were going somewhere, I wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, there you go. It was not a threat. We've taken that off. I'd like
Alex Hernandez.
Oh my! At least Alexander Hernandez will never hear this podcast. If Jake Hadley heard this podcast, I think he would fly to Ireland. Like He's that guy. So
he wouldn't even do that. He'd make Jake fly to England.
he'd buy him the
Get
plane
here
ticket.
now.
What's he like? How tall is he? I just want to see how my chances fare.
It doesn't matter. He will be. He will
really
be like
doesn't.
a pit bull.
He's
He will
5'7".
grab
what's
your
his-
ankle. And
He's
throw
5'7".
you.
Okay.
Quite
Okay.
tall for
I knew he
5'8",
was
to be
tall.
fair.
Yeah.
He's
that's
also like a
actually-
little gorilla. Like he's
Yeah.
5'7", but his
Yeah.
arms, his shoulders are like out here. So
Yeah, his
Only
arms are
hope-
so fucking long.
The only hope you have of escaping Jake Hadley is that your leg reach is longer so that you can stride further as you run, as you flee. But have you seen him run on the track when he's just posted ears? Fuck that, mate.
I was gonna say he weighs 125, and I'm like 165, but he doesn't walk around at 125. Like he's still gonna be bigger than that. The only way I beat Jake Hadley in a fight is that I have a gun.
yeah. You know what?
So
I would
maybe-
consider you a favorite. Yeah.
Nah, not even Jake's trademark weapon, the famous Stanley.
Stanley. That's reserved for Hernandez. I wouldn't dare use that on Jake Hadley. I have far too much respect for him.
Oh, brilliant.
In all
I need to
seriousness,
stop doing this.
You bring it on yourself, man.
yeah. In all seriousness, I thought Jake Hadley looked back to himself in his last fight where he picked up the win. The first fight was tough for him, and then he really got to showcase like what it is he does so well last time out. So I'm excited for that one, and if he wins, I'm going to be turning up the volume so loud to see if he shouts Makaev's name. It's going to be great.
You'll be turning the
It
volume up.
was weird for him coming in the UFC.
What?
It was weird for him coming in the UFC because he had the whole thing with Dana and Sean and Contender Series.
Yeah.
And then that first fight, he just didn't look himself against Nascimento.
Nascimento's like a featherweight though. Did you see the fucking size of him?
He is pretty big though. He is pretty big.
But
you know what? One of two Chris Duncans is up next.
That's what I was going to say. Just say Kyle will be
confusing.
screaming next.
Based on the UFC graphic, one of two Christian Duncans.
One of two Christian Duncans, yeah.
What have they put other Chris's Christian?
On the UFC graphic, they put Christian Duncan and Christian Leroy Duncan.
Oh my Christ above.
Just it's in the group chat.
It wasn't even Christian Leroy Duncan and Christian Duncan. It's just Christian Duncan and Christian Duncan.
Oh wow.
They haven't even made it Christian Leroy Duncan. Do you know what I mean? I was just going through the comments and people were like, yeah, but like his name is Christopher. You can't just fucking change his full name if you want to.
It does say Leroy. It does say Leroy.
It does say Leroy. Oh, okay, fair enough. The one I saw last, they might have changed it. But the one I seen last night,
I don't know if you can see that.
Christian Duncan.
No, it looks like Braille.
I can't see.
It's a rough fight for your UFC debut, to be fair. Dusko Todorovic. It's no joke, man, for a debut. That's heavy, bro. So
good flyer.
TLD's got it, hasn't he? That flying knee is coming. Sweet. In, man. Can't wait.
One thing I will say about him, though, have all of his UFC losses come by knockout. Because I know two. There was the Chidian Njokuani and Punahele Soriano. I don't know what his other losses.
RoboCop decisioned him.
Ah, yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I was gonna suspect that maybe he was a bit chinny, but if you
No way.
to go to a decision with RoboCop,
The Njokuani and Punahele Soriano, two guys that hit very, very hard.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to make a case for the boy, the boy Christian Leroy Duncan. And now I know we don't.
He hits hard as well.
Yeah, look, we don't need to make a case for him.
Yeah,
he's fucking awesome.
That's the case.
He's gonna win. I would bet. I was gonna say my testicles, but I shouldn't say things like that. That Christian Leroy Duncan will win this fight. You know what? I'm putting my balls on the line. If Christian Leroy Duncan doesn't win this fight, my balls are getting chopped. Do you know what I mean?
I will not comment for the sake of criminal charges. None of that. But nah, it's a good fight, man. It's a good fight.
Yeah.
Great to see Christian in the UFC. Maybe a little bit earlier than I imagined. I don't know about you guys.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to have any adverse effect in terms of nerves or anything like that because he doesn't. It's not a guy that we're worried. It's like, oh, it's a little bit early in his career. You know, are the the nerves going to get to him? Fuck no. Like
and
he's just going to.
Wait.
Yeah, you know, I think he's just going to walk in and do his thing, you know, and look damn good doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do kind of see what you mean, Steve, with the maybe a little bit earlier, but I think the performances in the title fights alone, you're kind of like, well, there isn't really anything else. Also, amateur background went on for ages, so like 7-0 is a little bit deceiving. He like part of that kind of group coming through Cage Warriors that just fought for ages in amateur and then just went really fast through the pro ranks.
Of course, he has 2 wins over who we know to be the best cornerman in the world, Will Curry.
Oh, love Will Curry. I wish he could corner every week. Yeah. Honestly. We've got Lerone Murphy up next, which this fight, I'm not too familiar with Gabriel Santos, but I've seen a lot of people being very excited to see him in the UFC as a late notice replacement. Obviously, this is disappointing because we were supposed to get the Nathaniel Wood fight, which would have been a fight that we would have been talking about for like 10 minutes straight. So good. But I've heard quite a lot of good things, like I said, about this Gabriel Santos. So how are you guys feeling about this matchup?
I went and had a look at him. He seems like a pretty good fighter. Honestly, he was LFA featherweight champion. Yeah, I think he won that back in January. He's vacated it to come over now. I think that was in an LFA featherweight tournament, and I went and watched his semi-final match. He got dropped in the first round, got back up. He's just finished the guy off with a pretty fucking good head kick. So good pressure fighter all around. I think it'll be interesting to see because like Lerone likes to push people back anyway. That's just his style. Like there's just a lot of fucking like aggressive movement with Lerone. So I'm interested to see how this one goes. I favor Lerone because I think he's criminally underrated. And again, like I've seen Lerone Murphy fight as many times as he's fought in the UFC. So that's probably where I lean. And he's a cool motherfucker. And I don't know if Gabriel Santos is a cool motherfucker. Maybe he is. But I'm just going on the facts.
Facts. Yeah.
Looking down on the record of Gabriel Santos, obviously you mentioned the tournament fights there, Jake. He had a win over Elvis Brenner in 2020. Elvis Brenner, of course, in UFC now. We saw him beat Tukugov a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's the most notable name on his record, but 10-0 LFA champion. That's really good pedigree coming into the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short notice against Lerone Murphy. Not the ideal way you want to be starting a UFC career, absolutely. But it seems it's an exciting fight. He looks. I haven't watched anything, but judging, there's a lot of finishes on his record. A lot of rear naked chokes, so he's obviously got a good submission game. He's done some grappling matches as well, and then 2 great finishes in the tournament. Yeah. Seems like a guy who would have been coming to the UFC fairly soon anyway, and it's just been sped up by this. And but at the same time, it's a good opportunity for Lerone to kind of take another step forward. Maybe get obviously against a guy who hasn't been in the UFC. It's an opportunity for him to get a finish. I'm sure he's looking at and kind of push forward a little bit more. Obviously, it's been a while since we've seen him. So for him, it's about just getting back in. He's had 2 cancelled fights or 1 cancelled fight against Nate and then Nathaniel Wood for this card. Yeah, I'm rambling, but I'm excited to see Lerone back in there.
Lerone's the man.
That's the most
and the man
thing.
Cheated death twice. So
yeah.
I'm just happy that we finally get to see him fight in the UK.
Yeah.
Like in the UFC, like that I'm just happy that they managed to get him an opponent, because when the Nathaniel Wood fight fell off, I was like, oh, that's gutting. That would have been great. But then immediately I thought, oh, man, both of these guys deserve to fight in London so badly. Like,
kind of glad we don't have to root against one of those, I'll be honest.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
to be
no,
fair,
that was
very
going to be
happy when it
difficult.
fell through.
I did not want to have to
But,
root
like,
against their own.
But like it would have been difficult to have to pick sides, but also stylistically, that is an awesome fight.
Yeah.
I hope we do get to see it after this.
Wonderful.
I presume, like, if all goes well with this event, they'll be doing another one in July, like they did last year. And I think that the July cards being a little bit of a dud, like, was the reason that we didn't get one in like the third or fourth quarter. But I have a feeling this event is going to go off really well, and we're going to have one or two more events in England this year. And that's where I want to see Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood. That's a fucking awesome fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think out of all the fights on the card, at least for the ones we have left, maybe this is one of the ones that doesn't take so long to preview. You've got Mo Mokaev stepping into the octagon for the fourth time, taking on Jafel Filio. Strange scenario with this. No one expected Mokaev to be fighting an opponent who is making their UFC debut. I think
big debut though.
Yeah, it's. I said, because I wrote the preview earlier for this about how Filio might go on to have a really great career in the flyweight division. It's not the caliber necessarily, it's the stature. You would expect Mokaev to be facing a top 15 guy. At the same time, because this event is, I think it's like 1 day less than a year, like exactly to the first UFC London event that we got last year. So for Mokaev to go 4-0 in just less than a year in the UFC is
mad.
I mean, like, we knew that the hype was pretty up there, but he has delivered on that absolutely. Like, that's an insane stat. So
yeah.
I'm still excited to see Mo Mokaev compete, even if the opponent, I think, is a little bit underwhelming for a lot of people.
I don't think his opponent's that underwhelming, to be fair. What is he? I think he's on like a 5-fight winning streak, all of them by finishes. He just got a sick win on Contender Series. He's got talent.
Yeah,
he's just unknown, I think, to the European market. But I think he could smash, to be fair. I think Mokaev's
It's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight at all. This Filio kid is pretty good from what I've seen of him. It's like Colin was saying, it's not so much quality, it's stature. We wanted Mo to fight a ranked opponent because he's number 12 in the rankings and he hasn't fought a ranked opponent yet. You know, it feels a bit like, you know, he's talking about, you know, becoming the youngest champion ever and, you know, calling for fights at the top of the division, and, you know, he hasn't fought anyone like that yet. So yeah, it's slightly just a little bit frustrating, but
yeah,
like, if he gets 4 wins in under a year, I think that could be a solid case for people to say, fuck it, throw him in with someone in the top 10 or the top 5 even. Never know.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously Filio coming in, making his UFC debut against Mokaev. A lot of people think Mokaev should face someone a bit higher. The name Charles Johnson comes to mind.
Yeah.
He's gone on to get 2. He came in LFA champion, making his debut against Mokaev. Mokaev's second fight, so people, they were talking about Tim Elliott back then. And then Charles Johnson's gone on, got 2 really good wins in the last year. So he's come in the position that Filio is in now and really established himself in that division. And he's not going to be far away from a ranking now if he keeps going. So
when you were talking about getting like 4 fights in under a year and being fine, I was trying to think, there's been a fighter lately who just keeps fighting like every fucking month. It's Charles Johnson.
Yeah.
That fucker always has a fight booked. Do you know what I mean? Like, not a week.
Yeah, he's had 4 in the same time.
Osborne. Yeah. You know, like, he's...
In fact, he fought Mokaev in July.
He lost to Ode Osborne in 4 days.
He fought Mokaev in July and has had 3 more since then.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mad.
He lost to Ode Osborne, and 4 days later, he had another fight booked. It's like, that's fucking dedication. Do you know what I mean? Like, big up Charles Johnson. Great fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, back-to-back fights. We've got back-to-back debuts in the UFC. The first one of those coming from Sam Patterson, who, Steve, I remember you catching up with. Was that before the Contender Series fight?
No, this was after he signed. When I spoke to him, he was looking at debuting in February at the Apex. Luckily for us, luckily for him, that didn't end up happening. I just want to touch. I've just seen something in the group chat. I just want to touch on that in a second. But of course, Sam Patterson. I'm excited to see this debut. It's a big fight. He's a guy. Obviously, I've had my eye on for a while. He did really good things in Brave, and then he's in the UFC now. I'm slightly distracted by the
Oh shit! I've just
Overeem.
seen it as well. Oh,
What is it?
Overeem suspended for 12 months by Glory. Tested positive again in the Badahari fight.
Color me fucking shocked. Walking in like the Hulk. He was on something? No. The image of my childhood hero has been ruined. Oh.
But do KSW test? Do we know? Probably not.
No, have you seen some of their fighters?
Yeah.
Pudzianowski. Do you know what I mean?
But no, Sam Patterson. Great to see him in the UFC. Lovely guy. Genuinely a super nice guy. One of the nicest fighters I've ever dealt with.
That's the best base for being a good fighter. Everyone knows
Exactly.
that. Being an absolutely sound fella.
Yeah.
Like, you think
all of the best fighters in the
world
sport are like just genuinely great people in society. We know this. The bad people never do well in this sport.
No, not at all. I mean, look at John Jones, upstanding Christian citizen. Do you know what I mean? That guy wouldn't touch a fly.
And he'll tell you about it too.
Oh, no. Well, personally, I find that him beating his wife makes him more relatable. You know, that's
I really,
yeah. That's a John Jones quote.
We should edit this part out, I think.
I really hoped that Jake was going to go the Nikita Krylov route with that and say, look at his recent success, all because he's a great guy.
No, I wanted to. I remember seeing it on the running order. It was like, will Krylov continue to be a swell? Like, all right, let's do this.
But no, Sam Patterson, I think one of the most well-rounded British fighters we've got as well. He's good everywhere. Got a really good choke on the Contender Series after losing the first round, coming back and getting that in the second. Guillotine choke over Kamil Magomedov in Brave as well. Just one loss back in his second pro fight.
Not a whole lot is known about his opponent either. A couple of finishes from what I saw, but
yeah, his opponent wasn't on the Contender Series. His last fight was on the PFL Challenger Series.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah. Which he beat Dennis Hughes.
Good for him.
Which sounds like a power slap name.
We are not getting on to power slap.
No. Jesus got robbed.
No power slap.
Okay. We talk about losing a round. Talk about losing a round on the Contender Series and coming back. We got to talk about Chris Duncan.
Yes.
Because produced one of the best finishes on the Contender Series.
Or is it Christian Duncan?
Who knows anymore? They're changing his name. They're not changing Veronica's.
Big C.
Oh shit! Yeah, they are as well. I mean, you can be called Blood Diamond in the US.
Why did they actually let him get away with that name? That was like Mike. His name was.
Would you rather be called Mike Mateta or whatever his name is?
Nah, but like, just fucking, your name is Mike. Do you know what I mean? You can't go around calling yourself Blood Diamond. There is a line.
Can we clip that and send that to him, please? With no context.
I talked to him about an interview in the past that never came off, so I could in theory send that to
him. So, Mike, what's with the name?
we need to get back. We need to get back to Chris Duncan.
Yes. Big C Duncan. What a fuck! More evidence that being a sound lad makes you a good fighter. He's like really good fighter, and his first run on the Contender Series as well. I remember Kyle and I talked to him about it. Just shit wasn't going his way. You know what I mean? And it ended up culminating in a loss to Borshev, who's now we know he's actually a pretty good fighter. So I don't think there's any shame in that loss. But then he came back, got his shit rocked in the first couple of minutes. Yeah, and then he came back and floored the guy. I remember seeing that clip. I didn't watch the fight live. I will admit. I woke up and I saw the clip. I was so tired that they looked too alike to one another, and I thought Duncan had been knocked out. I was like, "Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame."
I've just pulled up a picture of the guy. I see that. I've just pulled up the guy.
I don't know if they actually look alike or not, but in that moment, I was like, who's who? Oh shit, Duncan got knocked out. That's a shame. Then I went into the group and everyone was like, Chris Duncan won. And I was like, no, he didn't. Got knocked out. Not sure if you know. But yeah, absolutely, it was a fantastic comeback and a great knockout. Omar Morales as well. Not a bad fighter. Has more losses than he has wins in the UFC now. But if you look at the quality of his losses, off the top of my head,
thing to bring up first.
Yeah, not bad, but also
good fighter. Has more losses than wins.
Do you know what? I didn't even mean to be like a dick about that. I was just trying to say about like, you know, it's probably the thing that most people are going to see first. You know, when you're looking at the quality of opponent that Chris Duncan is going to be fighting. You know, he's a 37-year-old guy who. Right, let's have a look at his record here. Uros Medic.
Yeah.
Good fighter, so that's not that bad of a loss. Giga's fucking great. And Jonathan Pierce as well, who's actually quite good. So yeah, he has more losses than he actually no, he doesn't. He's 3-3. Never mind.
this was all for nothing.
Sorry about that. Okay, well, mixed
Shout
results.
out to Violet Money's Mike Figlak, who was originally supposed to be fighting him as well.
Yeah, that would have been so good.
Yeah.
Right. I want to sign off on the Chris Duncan fight by hoping that we have birthed a new MMA cliche, which is a comeback that's so good you think the wrong fighter has won. That needs to be a thing from now on.
Not Chris Duncan. What we call it? C-Man.
Sea Dog. Big C.
That's C-Man. That's worse.
Yeah.
Big C. Big C.
No, I thought we were just giving like gimmick names to everyone after their Blood Diamond discussion. What would Jack Shaw's gimmick name be?
I mean, I guess he could just be called the Tank.
Yeah.
That could just be his name.
Not even the Tank. He just
the
walks
tank
in and people
Mr. Finland. That's perfect.
Yeah. Now that is slap fighting.
Yes. I need Mr. Finland in there with slap Jesus. Let's
you know what? I found out. I only found out when I was doing the preview for this card why he's called Mr. Finland, because he was in like
because he's from Finland.
No, because he was like it's like a modeling competition in Finland.
Yeah.
It's like the nationwide modeling competition, and he won it. So he is actually Mr. Finland.
Have you got Tapology up?
Yeah, his picture
I need
is so
you to
good.
click on his page and look at his picture.
His picture is so good.
Yeah.
Bro, I fucking love Mac one, you know. He's just he's just a Chad though, ain't he? Like he's just a Chad.
Just a Chad. Giga Chad.
He is. For the opening round, he's ultimate Chad. And then after that, he's just very tired.
Very tired.
Also, this weekend means that he has the record for most appearances fighting in the UFC in England, which is insane.
Yeah,
I don't know how that has happened.
I think we talked about this in the group chat before the last card, maybe, or when they announced this.
Yeah.
Is he literally top now?
I believe so.
I think he ties the record, I think.
I got the stat from Jamie, I believe. So
yeah, I know Jamie was talking about it.
Yeah.
The fucking
he has the most losses in the UK as well.
Probably.
Adam and Nick from like it wasn't on Fight Disciples, it was on the fucking BT thing. They stole our whole thing about Mac Wanda's on every card in England. It's like, fuckers, I know you're stealing from Verbal Money now.
They just noticed,
but they're stealing. Yeah, they've only just noticed this now.
If
they
went back and watched. If they do their fight week stuff and they say that Chris Duncan's last fight was so good that they didn't know that he won, then for sure we know that.
That's when the lawsuits come in.
Yeah, for sure.
That's when the lawsuits come in.
Definitely.
I'll get
You know,
JB. I was about to say
actually
something that
happened.
we need to like take out the podcast.
Okay.
I was gonna say get JB to jump them in the media section, but like, let's take that out, please.
Oh, I don't know, Steve.
Because you're gonna incriminate. You're not incriminating me. You're incriminating JB.
He's going as cage side, not VM, baby.
That's cage side responsibility,
Yeah.
my friend.
That's not my thing, bro.
Do you know what? Speaking of comebacks,
I really hope Jamie sees them in media, given everything he like thinks about them.
Speaking of comebacks so good that you didn't realize that the fighter who won actually won. That actually happened when Leon fought Usman for the second time. My dad went to bed in the 4th round thinking like, oh, there's no way Leon pulls this back. And he got up the next morning then. He was asleep when I went back to bed. And he woke up and he was like, oh, Usman put some clinic on Edwards last night, didn't he? I said, yeah, he did, but he got knocked out in the 5th round. The same happened with fucking Pereira and Adesanya. He went to bed after the 4th round. He was like, there's no way Pereira gets back into this fight. He's fucked. He's knackered. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you the result. But this time I was like, that happened again. Do you know what I mean? You fucking leave and the underdog comes back. So
what are we doing? Are we keeping him? Are we making sure he stays, or do you want him to leave at this point?
I would like...
If Usman's winning again, feel free to fuck off.
Do you know, though, I don't know, this fight's on at prime time. I can't just tell people like fuck off to bed. Like,
go to bed.
Like 11 o'clock.
Go to bed at half 11.
Dad, go to this. I mean, who says I'm even rooting for Leon in this fight? Who says I'm rooting for Leon?
Scandal. Right, we need to get to that. Because so far
we need to like move on.
We've only talked about the Makwan and Miyakani side of this fight. We haven't actually spoken about Jack Shaw's featherweight debut. We've spoken about why Makwan is Mr. Finland, why he has the record for UK appearances, and we haven't spoken about the featherweight debut of Jack Shaw. Corley, I want to ask you about this because you edited the interview that I did with Jack Shaw, so you know all about this fight. How the thing that surprised me is when we heard about the featherweight move, I was really surprised. I didn't see that coming, but hearing him talk about it, you realize it makes total sense.
Definitely. I had honestly, when he moved to featherweight, I thought, what is going on? Like, you've just got around, for God's sake, and now you're leaving. Like, what are you doing? But after watching the interview and listening to his story of it all and why he is moving, taking the move up, it's so understandable, man. Like,
boxing.
Why do you body through?
I apologize that you all have to see more of my attic, but I had to get a charger for my laptop. It's dying.
I was gonna say, is anyone else surprised? Just a wall behind him?
Yeah, look. See, I've got these. Like,
how far away are you? Wow!
Yeah.
I thought that wall was like.
Exactly. That's why I just started laughing.
Do you know what it is? Because I've got one of those roofs that's built like a Toblerone, so it goes up at an angle like that, so it looks like it's really close to me.
Yeah. That's why I just like had to mute myself because I couldn't stop laughing when you walked off.
We can't ever do this podcast without something crazy happening. I've just realized that Jake lives in an optical illusion. Like, what?
This house is the Chael Son and TARDIS.
Yeah, like, fuck, it's hard to see now because it's dark. Oh, fuck's sake, I'm gonna have to turn on the light. Fucking keep talking about the fights.
Where are you going?
But no, Jack Shaw is going to smash. He's going to win. And that is all she wrote, folks. But whilst GSP bounces again.
Can't wait.
Who actually named it that? Like, I'm not. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
But like, even like the BBC took over and everything, and like, I'm not saying it's wrong necessarily, but big words.
The BBC. We don't fuck with the BBC, man. Fuck paying a TV license. Fuck them all. Sorry. I'm not saying
is that incriminating? I don't know.
This is just so much incriminating evidence here. You've set up an assault.
We're kicked off the podcast.
On two well-respected. Like, you set up an assault.
I'm sorry. Oh, I hate the BBC. I hate them.
Right. We have still got a 5-fight main card to do. This is getting out of hand.
I would like to intervene very quickly. The next fight, Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Dolidze, however you say it. I hope he kicks the shit out of Vettori. I hope he does. Like,
what have you got against Vettori?
He's a fucking words that will get me in a lot of trouble by the internet. Oof.
Like,
he put his fucking shorts on backwards for a picture.
Yeah, but like the fact that he's in Egypt, doesn't make him a bad fella. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he's funny because he's that.
He's a bit goofy too. He's like a bit.
He has.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even going to pretend that I have any ounce of respect for him. He is a weird one. He is a weird one, and I want to see Roman punch his head in. Until Marvin fights someone else that I don't have a disdain for, and then I will probably back Marvin and take these words back, delete the podcast, hide it for a while. I don't know. But Roman.
All right. Well, I didn't know you had such a passionate take on Marvin Vettori.
No, he had a bit of a Jake moment there, Collie.
Who doesn't fucking know how to put the shorts on the right way around? And what photographer doesn't tell him he's got his shorts on the way around? Both come.
Would you really want to piss that fella off though? Because I feel like he'd argue that they were on the right way.
No,
do you know what I
mean? No, Marvin, no.
Just for reference, I don't really like him either. Yeah, I just thought I'd defend him in this situation because I don't particularly like Roman Dolidze either. So,
we've got a Jacob Bay sympathizer over here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's the reason. I'm not. I must admit. But look, I think it was something that came out of that whole thing when I saw that fucking like Cheyenne Bays was going off with Roman. I was like, you sneaky fucker. You know what I mean? Like this guy can't be trusted.
I feel like we have managed to not talk about the fight itself, but I'm quite happy with that preview. We've managed to get both of you guys.
It's very middleweighty. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's a very middleweight fight.
Middleweight is dead, bro. At the moment, middleweight is a dead division. Same with light heavyweight. Until Jiri comes back, light heavyweight is dead. Middleweight dead. Don't want nothing from
fucking light heavyweight is still dead if Yuri comes back. Having one good fighter doesn't make your division any less dead.
But Yuri is like a cool dude, bro.
Oh yeah, no, like I agree with you 100%. But like light heavyweight still shit. Anyway, next fight.
We need to talk about. Yeah, Jake. You know what? You said it. You go for it. I don't know where you're gonna go with this.
Casey O'Neill is like again another example. Being sound as all balls, you know what I mean? Just makes you a good fighter. Casey O'Neill, yeah, she's fucking awesome. She's been out because she blew her knee in half. Getting I think Macy Barber. Was it Macy Barber or was it Jessica I? Because I know she was to fight one of them.
Jessica I,
and then Jessica I, and then Barber stepped in. My mistake. But yeah, I had her down as my 2021.
Wait, she didn't fight either of those people. What are you talking about?
She was scheduled to fight Jessica.
She was meant to fight Jessica. Yeah. Steve, I'm doing my thing here. You can't just jump in. Right?
He's doing this thing where he gets fighters' records wrong.
Yeah, I'm doing my thing, Steve. Right? I had her as my 2021. I think I had her as my breakout prospect of the year, something like that. Because she's really fucking good at fighting, and that's like, what's the word? It's an important skill to have in the UFC. She's really good at fighting, really good at finishing fights.
Yes,
I like Casey O'Neill a lot, and you can claim her as being a Brit because she's born in Scotland, right? So yeah, fuck it, you can take it. Jennifer Maia, you know what? Gets a bit of disrespect, and I'm not here for it. I'm here to defend Jennifer Maia. Do you know what I mean? Like, she gave Shevchenko a good test. She gave Manuel Fiorot a good test. Jennifer Maia is a good fighter. And I'm not here for this Jennifer Maia disrespect. That being said, Casey O'Neill inside the distance.
Yeah. This is Scotland's chance to get revenge for when Jennifer Maia stole a title shot from Joanne Calderwood.
Yeah.
I remember that as well.
Oh, that's why people don't like Jennifer Maya.
So
I remember now.
bittersweet.
Yeah.
It was horrific.
It was supposed to be Calderwood and Valentina. That was booked, and Valentina pulled out.
Yeah.
But then Joanne was like, "Fuck it, I'll fight anyway," and then
And
lost.
she lost in the first round.
So sad.
All respect for Joanne though, still, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was tough. Okay, not many fights left. We've got Gunnar Nelson taking on late replacement Brian Barberina. How do you guys feel about this one? I feel like it's in a bit of a strange place on the card, which I think hurts it a little bit because I think this fight is actually really good, but I'm struggling to get myself excited for it because it feels like there's a gap between the fights I'm really excited for and then some fights in between and then the other fights I'm really excited for.
Correct me if I am wrong. Was Nelson's last fight at London against Sato?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I am. Why is this on the main card?
Like
Nelson always brings support, man.
He does, man, and he's a violent motherfucker. But you can't just fight once a year and get a main card placement when you've got guys grinding day in day out and fucking on early prelims, bro. Why is Lerone on there and Gunny's there? Why is Jake on there and Gunny's there? Why is half the card on the prelims and Gunny? No, I like Gunny, but I just think the placement on that is just really.
It's kind of crazy to me that Gunny was originally supposed to be fighting Daniel Rodriguez when his last fight was a year ago against Sato. I don't know if that seemed like a weird booking to me.
It's a crazy booking. But if it
and
was
then even
Barberina,
that feels more about what should happen, but still.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Still though, like
I think Gunny might win, but
yeah,
I think Gunny's gonna win.
I think it's a good.
Not.
I think it's a good stylistic matchup for Nelson in general, and like I don't want to talk bad about him because he's one of Ireland's adopted sons, and I always have a special place in my heart for Gunnar Nelson, but it just doesn't feel like the right fight, and it doesn't feel like it should be on the main card. So, and like Barberina can't really grapple for shit, so.
He's going to elbow him to death, man. He's going to kill him with those elbows, which I can't wait for. I can't wait. But I just feel like that spot on the card, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit of a fucking negative prick, but I think you should fuck Marvin and Roman on the prelims and drop Gunny to the opening. Or drop him to the prelims. I don't really give a fuck what they do with either of the fights, to be fair.
Marvin and Roman is like boring as it might be, and the fact that it's middleweight, it's still a top 10 fight.
Yeah, one of the guys is top 5. So
you kind of have to.
You do and you don't. Like when does he ever give a fuck about rankings? Otherwise, do you know what I mean?
Okay. Are we all main event?
Are we all going Gunnar Nelson in that fight?
Yeah.
We haven't even done picks. We haven't even been doing picks.
I just wanted to know for myself.
Don't give away the article that's coming. Don't give it away.
Smart man. Good move.
Staff picks. That's what we need to do this week. Yeah.
Yes. Whole card.
For sure.
Yeah, full card.
Yeah.
Throw a tenner in the pot. Whoever gets the best picks wins.
Yeah. Is the tenner provided by you?
I'll provide the tenner. Wait, no, hang on. Wait there. Yeah. Nathan's contract goes through next week, so hang on. He's trying to, corporate expense.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Final 2 fights. The co-main event is to cut what I could do a long kind of build up for this fight. I'm going to cut it super short. It's one of the best matchups that we'll probably get this year in the UFC. Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. I will be very surprised if this isn't either a performance bonus or the fight of the night bonus. I can't wait for this fight. I'm really happy that, okay, we were promised some big things for this card, but the fact that we've got Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje coming over to fight in the UK, I think is wicked. So I'm so excited for this fight.
Hot take.
It helps that Gaethje just tends to follow Usman around.
That's very true. That is very true.
This fight will be, even I'm thinking it's going to be a madness, but this will end up like Derek Lewis and Ngannou.
No. I
Nah,
was
what are you
gonna.
doing, bro?
I,
What are you doing,
No.
bro?
I was gonna.
Why are you doing this
I
for
was
us?
gonna jump
I'm
out.
jinxing that motherfucker.
I was gonna jump out and say, "Oh, hot take! This won't be the fight of the night because it's gonna be the performance of the night, and someone's gonna get knocked out really quickly." That was gonna be my hot take, and you come in and say that it's gonna be a repeat of the one of the shittest fights of all time. Like, what's
It's going to be
going
a
on here?
chess match of skill. And Gaethje won't open up. Fitziev won't open up.
Have you ever seen Gaethje not open up?
You know who
He's
we're
not going to
dealing
do it. He's not going to do it. This is the bold prediction.
I know your gimmick is
This
like
is
you
the
don't watch
bold-
UFC, but like, come on.
This is the bold prediction. It's not going to happen.
He has
Not
like
gonna
one
happen.
of the highest striking rates of
Trust
anyone in the promotion. Probably any
It's
fighter in the world.
He's going to come out and he's
I'm pulling
going to
up his
think,
fight metric page right now.
Yeah,
Justin
no,
Gaethje
he gets
is gonna
he
go
gets hit
straight
more than
for the
anyone else,
takedown.
and he hits people more than anyone else.
so
How could he have
So?
a shit fight?
It's like
how
7
does
point
Ngannou have a shit
something
fight?
of strikes landed per minute, or strike. It might be strikes
Like-
thrown. I think it might be strikes
He
landed.
won't throw a
it's
punch
super
in
high.
the first round. He won't
Like,
throw a punch. He'll weigh him
You
up.
see some
throw
you
some
see
kicks,
some
won't
people-
throw a punch.
you see some people after a title loss that like the one Gaethje had. Yeah, they might be a bit gun shy, but it's Justin fucking Gaethje. He's gonna come
No.
out there. He's gonna act patient for a minute, throw a few feints, light on his feet, and then he's gonna start fucking falling over, throwing his overhands. Do you know what I mean? It's the classic
I've-
Justin Gaethje.
I
I've
just
pulled
think
up
he's gonna not
Gaethje's
throw a
career
punch.
stat. 7.46 strikes landed per minute, significant strikes landed per minute, 60% striking accuracy, 7.85 strikes absorbed per minute. Or significant strikes absorbed.
So for every strike he
55%
throws, he
defense.
takes one back.
Takedown
Not
average
good.
per 15 minutes, 0.00.
So
So like, has
none
he
of
attempted
this
a takedown
means
ever?
anything
Or is it just
to this
zero?
hot take.
75% takedown defense as well.
No, I just think that we're gonna expect too much, and we're not gonna get it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hype this up. I'm not
No,
trying to
I agree.
hype this fight up in my head too much. I think it's gonna be a quick finish, and I think Fiziev is gonna finish him.
I agree.
Do you really think he's gonna finish him that quick?
Yeah, I think Gaethje's gonna come in.
Ah.
I think he's gonna fight stupid, and I think Fiziev's gonna take his head off.
Mad.
That's
No,
good
on a
sign,
serious one, without my ridiculous hot take, I do think it's going to be good. I was watching it and I thought, oh, I'm going a bit too deep with this one there. I don't think it's going to be boring, but I don't think we're going to get a finish. I really don't. I think they both know they're both going to bring power and aggression. So I don't. It is what it is, isn't it, to be fair? Now I'm saying it out loud. Gaethje's been finished. So does he give a fuck if he gets finished again? I think he got knocked out by Poirier last in like 2018 or something mad. Fitziev lost his debut by KO. I just don't see any of them getting finished by each other. I don't see it happening. But
I agree with Corley. I don't think it will be a finish, but I do think Fiziev might take a pretty strong early lead, and then it'll become a great fight because Gaethje will have to chase after him, and it'll go into chaos for the last couple of minutes. So I can't wait. The main event: Birmingham's own Leon Edwards defending his welterweight title against Kamaru Usman. Their trilogy fight, I say fresh off of because it really didn't happen that long ago. The knockout of the year, the comeback of the year. Edwards against Usman in Salt Lake. This fight is so big. I've got a feeling. I'm worried that this isn't going to come true, but I feel quite confident in saying that this is going to be the best fight to watch out of their 3 fights. The first one wasn't great. The second one was very, very stressful as a Leon Edwards fan. And I think this one might be a little bit more open because I think Usman will push the pace a little bit more, try and be a bit more urgent now that he knows that he can get caught by a shot if he kind of takes his foot off the gas a little bit. So away from all the stakes, because obviously it's a title fight in the UK, Leon Edwards, I'm in. But I'm really excited for the fight, and not just because I think it's going to be an insanely tactical 25 minutes. I think that we're going to get a really good fight this time around.
a fucking men, Kyle Diamond. Ski mask when we grab a pot. Oh, I've sang the lyrics wrong. I'll cut that bit out, definitely. But who gives a fuck? Can I just say now, what you just said I think Usman came out 100% last time. Usman came for war every round. That Usman we saw in the last fight was the Usman we've seen in previous fights. What we saw was Leon motherfucking Edwards in the first round show how good he was, and then unfortunately just something happened. Something happened, and then the headshot dead coming. But I think in London, home crowd, we are going to see that full Leon round one. I don't think Usman has a chance in hell of beating him in front of the home crowd. Like, no chance. Like, dominant decision win for Leon. Or another fucking KO. I'm so excited. I'm like a little
That's
girl
a big
about
statement.
I'm
That's a big
buzzing.
statement. Not to say that Leon will win, but to say that Usman has no chance. Because
no chance in England, bro.
I have been saying since the first fight that I think if they fought again, that Usman would win. But during this whole week, I'm starting to have doubts because Leon Edwards is very fucking good. And what if he just comes at like there's going to be no elevation this time. He's coming in as the champion. He's doing it in England. What if he just comes out like a fucking madman and takes his head off? I don't know. And as a guy, okay, I'm not even gonna say I'm a Kamaru Usman fan. As a guy who owns a Kamaru Usman t-shirt, like I'd like to see my guy win so I can start wearing that t-shirt again. Because I tried to get away with wearing it, and then certain educated people were like, "Oh, your guy got knocked out, bitch," and I was like, "Guess I can't wear the shirt from now on." So that's my whole reason. For
I haven't worn my Cody Garbrandt shirt in a while, so I get it.
Get it back on, Steve. Decision win. We're back.
Decision win against Trevin Jones. The Garbrandt army rises again.
All the Trevin Jones fans are going to see Steve and be like, "It was only a decision. You can't wear that."
Yeah, the Ronda Rousey t-shirt's been in the closet for a while too.
Oh God, yeah.
You're not celebrating her WWE success, Steve.
If you can call it success if you want.
I don't fucking know. I don't watch WWE. I just like, Ronda Rousey's doing stuff now. Good for her.
I've said this a few times, and I feel like I don't want it to make it sound like I'm trying to come up with excuses for why I think Leon can win. But when I watched that second fight, Usman, I think, was fairly close to how we've seen him in his fights before that. I've seen Leon Edwards be so much better than that. And that's what's in the back of my head the whole time, is I know that Leon Edwards can deliver a performance that looks twice as good as that. And I'm sure Kamaru Usman wasn't at his best. I've definitely seen better Kamaru Usman performances. But I don't think he was, I don't think it was a bad performance from Usman. But Leon, I thought, looked not himself for a lot of those rounds. Whether that's the elevation, which is kind of what he seems to be suggesting. But that is in my head the whole time, and it is getting me so excited for Saturday night.
He took the motherfucker down, man. He took him down. He took the motherfucker down.
Like if Leon was able to fight like he did in the first round, for the next 4 rounds, he would have cruised to a pretty easy decision, because the striking was even enough in the first round, but somehow it was Leon's grappling that won him the round. And he took Kamaru's back. He got into it. Like, it was amazing to watch, because no one expected that's how the fight was going to go. But whether it was a cardio issue or just kind of a mental block in the moment, Leon just couldn't get anything off, and even though I still do think maybe technically Usman is ahead of Edwards right now, I still know, just like you were saying though, Kyle, Edwards can put on a performance much better than what he showed back in August. So I think it's a little bit harsh to judge his chances going into this fight based on his last performance, which is crazy to say, because he knocked the fucker out. It's not often you can look at a fight and go, "Oh no, you can't use that performance to figure out what's going to happen," when he won the world title with a fucking head kick.
Yeah. I mean, considering that we started this podcast by saying we're just talking about the UK stuff because it's a huge week for UK MMA, I'm going to get goosebumps when Leon Edwards makes a ring walk as the last fighter on the card of a pay-per-view with the belt. Like, That's going to be insane, man. I can't wait. And the idea that keeps creeping into my head that Leon Edwards has not shown his best performance yet is like scaring me. Like, I'm so excited for this fight. It's going to be great.
You're making me root for Leon Edwards, and
I know
that's not a good look for me.
I know that we were going to say.
How could you not root for Leon? How could you not root for Leon?
Because I own an Usman t-shirt.
He did say that. He did. Yeah, that's a good point.
Fuck your Usman t-shirt. It's Leon Edwards, man.
Do you know? I was so happy. I've never been so happy to see a guy whose shirt I was wearing laid out just because the other guy won, and like seeing him call his mother backstage crying, and the pictures of him holding the belt, like
the most beautiful thing.
I was gonna say I felt almost a sense of English pride, but that goes against everything I stand for. I'm never gonna say that. So
you probably shouldn't have said it then, to be honest.
Yeah, well, no, I should have.
Yeah, thanks.
Clip that.
Yeah, thanks.
What was beautiful was when he went to WWE. Was it the day or the weekend after or something? Or the day after?
It was like a couple of weeks after. It was September.
Yeah, and they put him on the screen, didn't they? Like UFC champion, and his little smile when he just gets put on camera and they're like everyone's cheering him. It's the most amazing thing ever. You can just tell, like. And to be booed a few fucking years ago in your home crowd in the same arena you're going to be walking out to fucking cheers with. What a fucking story, man.
That was going to be my next question. You think Leon's getting booed this time?
No.
Only because he's not fighting Gunnar Nelson. If he was.
Oh my god, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my god, it was Gunnar Nelson as well.
It was. People were cheering Gunnar Nelson.
People were doing the Icelandic clap the whole fight. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever witnessed.
Oh fuck! I remember that now.
Gunny's probably fought him more than Leon. Let's be honest.
To be fair, man, that Irish crowd is a good crowd to bring with you. You can't beat the fucking Irish.
I think the majority of the people were English.
It wasn't even the Irish crowd. It was the English crowd.
It's just Till slagged him off once, and people were like, "We're booing him."
Yeah. And I remember when the 3-piece and soda happened, everyone was like, "Oh, Masvidal showing Leon up," and I'm thinking, "What the fuck are you on about? Like, you're English. Why aren't you backing the boys?" Hashtag back the boys.
No, like even this time last year, like we were saying, it'll be just under a year since the return to London happened. Like even when they showed Leon on the screen, and it was like, "Oh yeah, Leon's gonna be getting his title fight," everyone in the crowd was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I was there. It was a bit
good for you, Leon. Good for you, pal. And now he's going to walk out, and the place is going to be fucking bouncing when he walks out.
Yeah.
He said headshot dead, and everything changed.
Yeah.
That is it.
Bro gave one good interview, and everyone in England was like, "I think I can get on board with this."
And don't forget, Leon Edwards is at the world's finest gym in England today. He's at the VM Academy doing something. So yeah, just know. Our brand has been touched with greatness today.
Do you reckon we can say, as seen on TV? Can we put that in like all of our like all the account bios if we end up on Embedded or something like that? I know it's not TV, but like close enough. Do you know?
It'll be on my TV.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen on Steve's TV.
Yeah,
but then if I just like Chromecast the website to my TV, does that count as VMTV being on TV?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope by now at least one person has watched this podcast on their TV.
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually
Marvel Money as seen on TV.
In brackets by Corley.
Yeah. Hey, it's a beautiful quality of programming, you know.
I know that we were going to do
the best.
We were going to save predictions for a staff picks, but I feel like we should do it for this main event because it's the biggest main event that the UK is going to have.
Don't make me pick.
I think Kamaru is going to get in the 5th round.
I don't believe you.
I'm lying, Kyle. I'm a liar. Leon, the 1st round, the 2nd round, the 3rd, 4th, or the 5th. I don't care. It's happening.
I will say Kamaru Usman by a crappy decision, but I retain my right to flip my stance if he loses. If Leon comes out and wins the fight in emphatic fashion, I reserve my right to come on here next week and say it's great to see Leon win. I was rooting for him all along.
Wait,
Pride and all that.
can we make a bet? If Leon wins by stoppage, Jake has to wear his Usman t-shirt on the next Verbal Money.
Deal.
That's a good bet.
I say it's a bet. I have nothing else. I don't own a Leon Edwards t-shirt that I can wear if he loses. So I'm just basically asking you a favor. But
I was going to say, if Leon loses, I will shave my beard completely. But I can't do that. I can't fucking do that.
No. You have to.
Oh my god, no! I will look like a paedophile.
You have to do it. You have to do it on the episode as well. You have to
happening.
You have to bring it into the bathroom and just leave it up on your mirrors and just.
I didn't realize we were turning this into a hair versus shirt match.
Fucking hell. We should do hair versus hair. Go all Vince McMahon and Donald Trump in this bitch. No, I can't even do it. I can't do it. Can't do that.
I've just been reminded. I actually owe the people of Twitter a very sincere apology for misleading you all about Arman Sarukian versus Rafael dos Anjos. I thought that was. I thought it came from a good source. I'm very sorry. Of all the fucking tweets that I did,
this is gonna end like any second. So
just set up another one to like close things off.
Do we really?
No. It's good. Just end it with.
I'm picking Leon by decision. Done.
I'm picking Leon by late finish again.
Leon by Leon.
That's it. That's where it ends.